I'm John Peterson. I'm the Executive Director for School Administrators. We are going to have another podcast here today, and we've got a very special guest. We have our president. We've got my boss, Jerry Rasmussen, who is the high school principal at Dakota Valley. And he's agreed to do a short 10-minute podcast here and share a little information, a little bit about him. But before I start asking him questions, I do want to make it clear that it is the afternoon of February 2nd. It's been a long day, and we've had a lot of meetings. We met with the superintendent's executive board from 12 until 3, and then school administrators. We met here until 5 o'clock today, and then we have more meetings tonight. And most administrators are in town for the festivities to celebrate the outstanding administrators banquet that we have tomorrow. They'll be recognized, and Jerry just happens to be one of them. Jerry was the outstanding high school principal this year. He was selected, so I mean he's got a lot of neat things going for him this year. Not only being our president, but being selected by his peers to receive that honor as well. So we'll start out, Jerry. Welcome to the show. You know, there's nothing fancy about this. We're sitting here in my office, and we're going to do a short podcast. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Share with the members who Jerry Rasmussen is.
I live in Dakota Dunes with my two daughters. I have a freshman daughter and a fifth grade daughter. The freshman daughter sometimes probably wishes I was principal at another school. I know that's a challenge many of you face with your own children, but we're growing through that. I'm maybe somewhat unique in that I'm the principal at the school district that I went through K through 12, and so I'm really back home, and that's where my teaching career was too. So that community is where I've spent my entire professional educational life. And I've been a high school principal there 11 years now, and was a teacher there for 12 years before that.
Jerry, where'd you go to college at?
I went to USD. All three of my degrees are from USD, so probably 30 miles have encompassed all of my life.
You know, Jerry, I can't wait to ask you this next question, and I got to sometimes be careful about the questions that I ask and the comments that I make, because with school administrators, we represent 6 different groups.
Mm-hmm.
We represent superintendents, high school principals, elementary principals, business managers, curriculum directors, and special ed directors. So 6 different groups. And so, you know, I get myself in trouble if I make comments like one job is harder than the others. So I got to be careful. But I know from experience that being a high school principal can really be challenging. I mean, it's difficult. Not to say that our superintendents and the other people don't have super stressful jobs, but my experiences with high school principals, some of the challenges that you deal with, and some of the issues that come up, it's got to be tough. And so, with that said, Jerry, why did you decide to be a high school principal?
I think just I had so many educators in my life that had impacted me, and high school was very, very enjoyable for me. And I think it's just a wonderful place to work with kids, and their maturity and their interest match my interest, and just the level that I think is a fit for me.
You know, it's interesting, your response there, because, you know, I too enjoyed high school. You know, and a lot of times when I say that, people go, oh, you mean you loved the studying and you loved all the things that went on there? No, it wasn't always the rigor in the academics, but I mean, it just seemed like school was a positive experience for me as well. And I think most educators, that's one of the reasons they choose that profession. But with it, what are some of the biggest, you know, challenges? You got some challenges, Jerry. What are the challenges with your job?
I think one of the 2 things come to mind. One is the time. By the time you supervise the activities, whether that be the sports or the play or the concerts, just the days and weeks can get very, very long with all the activities that go on with the high school. That's also a plus. I mean, you know, lots of activity, fun stuff with kids, but just the time can be a challenge. And I think the second challenge is we're kind of the last chance to catch kids. If we're not able to catch them, then their graduation and their future sometimes, you know, are really impacted. And so it's the last chance we have of trying to retrieve some of those kids from failure in many ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I certainly understand. So basically, in Dakota Valley, Jerry, if the lights are on, you're probably there, aren't you?
Pretty much. I do have, you know, parents who'll say, do you never go home, you know, because they'll see it this, they'll see it that. And of course, they like to see everyone wants to see at their kids' events. And that's one of the struggles with administration, is trying to be visible, but trying to have time for yourself and your family also. It's gotten a little easier with my daughter being a freshman, because now we're a lot at the same events. But it can be a real balancing act, because it is. It's, there are some weeks, as many of you know, that are 70 and 80-hour weeks. Yeah, that's a lot.
Another question that I've got to ask you, because you're at least 4.5 hours away?
Yes.
I mean, it's a long ways to the southeast part of the state.
Right.
And so, many times I talk to administrators in South Dakota, and I say, well, you ought to get more involved, and you ought to come out here to peer and participate in some of our opportunities, some of the different sessions that we have. And I'm too busy, I'm too far away. But what I've noticed is the Dakota Valley is very active. I mean, your administrative team is very, very involved. What do you attribute that to?
Two things. One, Al Lieber, our superintendent, encouraged me as soon as I was principal. He said, find ways to get involved.
Now, you didn't have to say that.
No, I know. We're not negotiating.
All right. No, excuse me.
Al was just very open with. He said, the conversations that you have with people riding in the car after the meeting, et cetera. He said the meetings and stuff are important also, but he said you're going to get chances to grow so much and learn from others that if you don't get out of your district, you just don't get those chances. And that's just really rang true. There are so many times I've sat with someone, and you'll have a problem or a concern, and they'll have an idea or a way they've dealt with it. And I've just learned so much from all the different groups, not just high school principals. Literally all the groups have helped me, I think, become a better principal, whether they're high school principals or not.
Okay. Jerry, one of the I guess, challenges or opportunities, however you want to look at it, that we took on here at SASD a few years ago, actually 2.5 years ago, was to come up with a professional development program for school administrators. We thought that was lacking, and we looked at some different things, and I guess reached a decision that we would go with balanced leadership. And balanced leadership is a leadership opportunity for school administrators, and it was coordinated, or I guess drawn up by McCrell Educational Agency out of Denver, Colorado. You're actively involved in it. I mean, you were a student the first year out, and now you're a trainer. I mean, you are conducting sessions. Share with us. We've only got a couple of minutes, but tell us, what is balanced leadership?
Right. Balanced leadership is really a program to learn how to manage change. And whether that change is how do you help individuals with change, or how do you help change initiatives throughout your whole school or your whole district. But that's what it's meant to be. It's not a quick hit, go to something for a day, and boy, you'll go back tomorrow and you'll be able to just tackle and change things right away, and I'm going to teach this program to my teachers. But it's more a way of encompassing change and kind of embracing it, and thoughtful, purposeful change, and how we're going to manage that at our school. And that's really, I think, the summation of it. It's 8 days of training, which sounds like a lot, but I really think it can have a huge impact on how we approach change, which all of us have to.
Yeah. Okay. And we're in our second cohort. We had the first year we had a superintendent and a principal cohort,
Correct. And
this year we didn't have the numbers for the superintendent, and we didn't have anyone trained. So consequently, we're just doing the principal's cohort. And you're down in Sioux Falls. You're wrapping that up, aren't you?
Yeah.
Now, and it's been requested that we go out to Rapid City with the program. And I believe we're tentatively planning on having a program out there on the 15th and 16th is when we're going.
Correct.
We're going to the Black Hills area.
Yeah.
is where we're going. So we would encourage any school administrator that's interested in a very outstanding professional development program on leadership and change to check our website out, or to get in touch with us here at School Administrators. So that's one of the outstanding opportunities we have coming up. I guess time's just about running out, and so Jerry, we thank you for the service that you give our organization and the leadership, and best of luck to you in the rest of the year.
Thank you. Thank you very much.